They say you should never meet your heroes. I met the President of the United States. A few years later, someone put a bullet in his head. But before all that, I was just a simple man running with a football. College flew by in a blur of touchdowns and roaring crowds. They put me on the All-American team. But honestly, I wasn't there for the glory. I was there for her, Jenny. She went to a college I couldn't get into. But that didn't stop me. I'd visit her every chance I got. One rainy night, she flew into a rage, screaming at me, her hand cracking across my face. I didn't understand. All I'd brought her was a box of chocolates. But then, just as quickly, the storm passed. She pulled me close, her voice a whisper. She told me her dreams. About becoming a famous singer, standing on a stage with just her guitar, touching people's souls. She asked me if I'd ever been with a girl. I told her the truth. I'd only ever sat next to them in class. In that moment, in that tiny dorm room, the world outside disappeared. It was just us. My football fame took me to a place I never imagined. The White House. Shaking the president's hand was strange. He asked me how it felt to be an All-American. I told him I had to pee. But the best part? The food. They put you in a room with all the food and drink you could ever want. And it was all free. I must have drunk 15 Dr. Peppers. I felt like I was on top of the world. But the world has a funny way of kicking you when you're up. Not long after I shook his hand, that nice young president was shot dead, right in his car. Then, a few years after that, they shot his little brother too. It made me think that being a brother must be hard. I wouldn't know. After 5 years, they gave me a college degree. Mama was so proud. But I stood there in my cap and gown, holding a piece of paper I could barely read, with no idea what to do next. That's when a man in uniform handed me a pamphlet. Promised a future, an adventure. So I joined the army. It seemed like a mistake from the very first minute. The bus ride was a blur of yelling. I couldn't find a seat. Then, a voice cut through the noise. You can sit here if you want to. His name was Benjamin Buford Blue, but everyone called him Bubba. He wasn't interested in war or glory. He was going to enter the shrimping business. And he told me everything there was to know about it. My life had just taken another sharp turn, and I had no idea where this bus was heading.